Have you ever wondered how strange kind of lonely when everyone tells you you're killing it, but late at night you look in the mirror and don't believe it? You nod. You smile. You play along. But inside, you wonder if you fooled them all, or maybe worse, if you fooled yourself too. Nobody talks about the gap between how the world sees you and how you see yourself. That invisible canyon between external praise and internal doubt. That's the hardest place to live. It's where Sigma males quietly bleed out. Not in public. Not with drama. In silence. Behind unread messages. Behind ghosted invitations. Behind the unspoken pain of being both admired and misunderstood. So when a Sigma finally walks, don't expect a headline. Don't expect a warning. Don't expect a fire. It's not anger. It's not punishment. It's preservation. He exits not to make a point, but to protect what little of himself remains intact. And when he does, it's clean, quiet, complete. You won't even realize he's gone until months later, when something reminds you of his silence and the way it still echoes louder than all the noise you made. Here's exactly why Sigma males leave without a trace, warning, or apology, and why it shatters everything you thought you understood about endings. 1. He doesn't announce growth. He outgrows silently. Most people post about their progress. Sigma males don't. They disappear to build in silence, and by the time they return, they've become unrecognizable. They don't announce the glow up. They become it. Their evolution isn't for display. It's for self-recovery. They've tasted what it means to be doubted, dismissed, taken for granted, and they don't want applause for bouncing back. They want results. Quietly earned, quietly kept. They don't owe anyone an explanation for how they leveled up. They just do. If you wake up one day and he's gone emotionally, physically, spiritually, chances are he already outgrew the old version of himself you kept treating like a placeholder. He didn't leave because he wanted more. He left because you never noticed he already became more. 2. He doesn't negotiate self-respect. Sigma males do not wait around to explain why they deserve dignity. They're not interested in giving second, third, fourth chances to people who repeatedly cross lines and call it just being honest or joking. There are no raised voices, no last-ditch efforts, just stillness. One day the messages don't get returned, the energy drops, and the window of access closes quietly but completely. Because he knows this. Once you explain your standards and they're violated, every next explanation is self-betrayal. He doesn't cut you off to prove anything. He cuts you off to protect everything: his values, his focus, his sanity. 3. He erases what no longer feeds him. There is no formal goodbye. No passive-aggressive unfollow. When a Sigma is done, he scrubs the slate. Contacts gone. Photos deleted. Mutuals unfollowed. History buried. It's not drama. It's detox. When something starts to feel like poison, whether it's a relationship, a place, a routine, he removes it like a surgeon cutting out rot, without emotion, without hesitation. Because when you've walked through hell to build peace, anything that threatens that peace has to go. And he's not sentimental about what no longer serves him. 4. He values patterns, not apologies. Apologies are currency in a world addicted to words. Everyone says sorry. Everyone begs for one more chance. But the Sigma male, he doesn't hear the apology. He watches the aftermath. You said you were sorry. Did your actions change? Did your tone shift? Did the disrespect disappear? If not, then your sorry was nothing but a comfort pill for yourself, not for him. Sigma males live by observation. They don't get blinded by emotion or guilt. They sit back and track the timeline. And when they notice that the cycles repeat the patterns of betrayal, inconsistency, disrespect, they don't argue. They just close the chapter. Because for a Sigma, loyalty is measured in consistency. And the quickest way to lose him is to promise change and deliver the same chaos. He doesn't need you to say it better. He needed you to do it better. 1 apology might be grace. 2 is patience. 3 is delusion. And beyond that, It's disrespect not to him but to yourself. So when he leaves, don't look back at the words you said. Look back at the life you showed him. 5. He understands loyalty is energy, not history. Just because you've known each other for years doesn't mean you still align. Sigma males aren't impressed by shared timelines. They're interested in shared vibrations. If the vibe changes, if the loyalty fades, if the energy dims, he doesn't force it to work. He lets it die. No confrontation, no drama, just detachment. Because staying loyal to a broken bond is just a slow form of self-destruction. He walks when he realizes the connection is only being kept alive by memory, not momentum. 6. He walks when the room starts asking for less. If the people around him start asking him to play smaller, apologize for being ambitious, or tone down his truth for comfort, that's all he needs to see. Sigma males don't shrink. They don't dim. They don't downplay. They leave. Because real ones don't ask you to dilute yourself. They ask you to go harder. When he sees the room can't handle his full form, he doesn't argue. He exits and finds a room with more air, more space, more resonance. 7. He doesn't repeat himself to be heard. You get one chance to understand him, one explanation, one truth. After that, repeating himself becomes a waste of time and energy, and he won't do it. Sigma males don't scream to be heard. They whisper once. And if you're not listening, that's not his problem, it's your loss. He doesn't engage in circular conversations. He walks out of them. Because to him, being ignored once is enough proof that his clarity was never the issue your attention was. 8. He stops talking before he stops caring. Most people talk when they care, argue when they're hurt, shout when they want to be heard. But a Sigma male isn't built that way. He doesn't raise his voice. He lowers his presence. He doesn't throw words around hoping one lands. He retracts surgically, like a ghost who knows when it's time to vanish. The warning wasn't in what he said, it was in what he stopped saying. When the updates stopped, when the check-ins faded, when you stopped being part of his inner rhythm, that wasn't apathy. That was the final courtesy. Because a Sigma doesn't leave out of nowhere. He leaves after countless ignored signals. And by the time you realize how long it's been since you heard his truth, it's already been buried. Not out of bitterness, but out of the silent discipline of a man who has no time to beg for emotional reciprocity. His silence isn't cold. It's conclusive. 9. He doesn't mourn access. He revokes. When a Sigma cuts you off, it's not theatrical. There's no loud goodbye, no monologue, no guilt trip. Just absence. Complete, precise, and irreversible. He doesn't revisit what he closed. He doesn't reopen locked doors. He doesn't peek back to see if you noticed. Because to him, the hardest part wasn't walking away. It was giving chances when his gut already told him you weren't aligned. That's what he mourned. That time he kept showing up when he should have walked. So when he finally pulls the plug, it's not out of rage, it's out of revelation. He doesn't miss the history. He honors the lesson. And that lesson taught him this: if you violate peace once, you might do it again. And he won't give you that power a second time. 10. He leaves before he hates you. A Sigma doesn't wait for things to turn toxic. He doesn't wait to resent you, to dread your presence, to question his own value in your orbit. He leaves while he still has love, because he knows that staying past that point would corrode everything sacred. You think it came out of nowhere, but it didn't. He felt the shift. He noticed how your tone changed, how your support got quieter, how your jokes turned into jabs, and instead of trying to fix what he didn't break, he walked. Because hate is heavy, and regret is worse, and the Sigma is not a man who lingers in either. So he leaves when the love is still pure, so he can remember you as you were, not as what you became. That's why his exits are so clean, so final. Because he doesn't want to kill the connection, he wants to preserve it in memory, untarnished. And walking early is the only way to do that. On a final note, you didn't see it coming. You thought he'd always be there, that he'd always respond, always care. But when the Sigma male vanishes, it's not an act. It's the finale. You won't get a warning. You won't get a goodbye. You won't get a post-exit explanation. What you'll get is silence and the slow, brutal realization that it was earned. Because when he walks, he takes everything with him. His presence, his peace, his potential. He doesn't walk to teach you a lesson. He walks because he's done teaching. And when he leaves, the lesson begins.